Alrighty, well, hello friends. Here we are again. An eruption has begun on the Reykjanes Peninsula. If folks can let me know if they can see and hear me okay while we get going. Live stream here. Second one today. Did not see this coming at all. But excited to be here and see what happens here. So we'll try to brief you as best we can on what's been going on in the last few hours. I've been watching this. Johan let me know that the town was evacuated with the seismic uptick that happened a few hours ago, and was watching everything going down. And to be honest with you, I'll be totally transparent here. Just based on everything I was seeing, it looked like it was probably going to be more of an intrusion than an eruption. The earthquakes were fairly deep for a while. It didn't seem to be progressing like you would typically see with an eruptive sequence. Based on what we're seeing with the webcam so far, it looks like it's fairly confined. I don't know. And please, with these live streams, we're all learning together. So as others get data, you can send that in. We do have Amanda Joe on the live chat. She's up at some insane hour, 4:23, crazy. But yeah, let's learn together. And as more information becomes available, please let me know, because I'm just pulling this up and checking some of the sites just like many of you. But it looks like it's fairly confined. Just in watching it and watching just the sequence, it doesn't look like the fissure is extending a whole lot, at least right now, and that's pretty early. But we'll have to see moving on if going forward if that stays the case. Again, pretty crazy. I just wrapped up my live stream, gosh, maybe what 5 hours ago, something like that. We flew over parts of this area with Johan and Nature Eye, and I showed you the earthquake activity. There wasn't anything going on really. I showed you all the data. So let me turn to what we do know so far, and here's our latest. Let's go ahead and keep refreshing these to make sure we're getting the latest. So from the Met Office, based on GPS measurements and deformation signals, it's likely this was a relatively small eruption. The amount of magma, yeah, and then they talk about how much magma was there. So again, this was unexpected because we just didn't think we had enough magma and pressure in the system to warrant an eruption. And so when we saw the earthquakes, and the earthquakes weren't very large. We'll come back to the earthquakes and look at those again, but the signals weren't what we've seen with some of these other eruptions where we see larger quakes, and quakes that get shallower as it moves up. And we didn't really see that as much here. So from what we can tell, the eruption is taking place fairly close to, the source is southeast of Litla Skogfelt. So let me show you real quick on Google Earth kind of where that is. And also real quick here, let me go back to that. It's in a similar area to the crater that was most active during the eruption in August. So we literally just flew over this area and this crater a few hours ago with Johan and Nature Eye. So we took off from an area over here. This is what I've shown for you here in black. This is the more or less the footprint of the August 22nd, 2024 eruption. So from last year. I don't have the vents on here. I apologize for that. But you can see sort of the extent of that. And they're talking about this vent opening up some distance southeast of this hill, Litla Skogfelt. And so somewhere in this area is where this vent has opened up. If I had to guess, it would be sort of in this area right here. But again, we just took off with Johan and Nature Eye from a location right about here, flew over this little patch of uninundated lava area here at Kapuka, and flew out over this area. So we just saw this a few hours ago, and now this is where we have the eruption go. So I'm going to try to keep you as up to date as I can. Appreciate your patience, and I'll also be somewhat distracted. This won't be totally smooth because Amanda Joe is sending me great information on one screen, and I'm kind of watching it all with you on the other. Yeah, she mentions the same thing. Very few updates coming in so far. Civil defense has gone to emergency level. So the good news is it's nowhere near Grindavik. Um, they've evacuated Grindavik. I don't know anything about the Blue Lagoon or the power plant, but it's not really in that area. And I think probably the best thing going in terms of just human safety and infrastructure is, as I've been watching this for a few tens of minutes now, it's just not lengthening like we tend to see with some of these eruptions early on. They tend to lengthen, the fissure lengthens fairly quickly and early in the eruption cycle. And you can see that the area where the lava is erupting here is fairly confined. It's also not fountaining as high. I don't know what the distance here is. I can't guess as to the exact height of these fountains, but it doesn't look to be on the same scale as what we've seen with many of the other eruptions in this area. So, yeah, the Blue Lagoon Grindavik campsite evacuated hours ago. Thanks, Amanda Joe. Yeah, so no one's in harm's way that we know of. It seems to be in an area that is pretty good in terms of infrastructure. It's pretty far away from Grindavik. It's also a good distance away from Vogar. And the other saving grace, I suppose, here again is that the eruptive volume so far, I mean, we're only looking at a few tens of minutes into this, is quite limited. So we've got one view there, another view here, the same thing. And again, it's just not a very long fissure. That's probably just a few hundreds of meters, not kilometers like we see with some of these other eruptions. So it's anyone's guess as to how long this goes on. This could be a pretty short-lived event, similar to what we saw on April 1st. And somewhere I did see, yeah, here we go. So we go back a few updates ago before the eruption began with the Met Office, just before the eruption began, about 10 minutes before. They had estimated that the intrusion was about 6.5 kilometers long. So based on the earthquakes and what they were seeing there, the seismic data suggested that the magma had moved into this other zone and had formed a dike, an intrusion of magma that was about 6 to 7 kilometers in length, much shorter, and they mentioned that, than what we saw like on April 1st. We had about 20 kilometers of length. Let's look at that earthquake data really quick here. Again, this is the last 24 hours. It's going to be kind of a mess, but you can see down here near Grindavik. And again, this is nothing like what we saw, a few hours ago when I did my my live stream earlier today with Johan. This was, I think I counted 8 to 10 earthquakes total. But notice a lot of these are pretty small. If we weed out all the magnitude 2s and below, you can see they're concentrated here just to the northeast of Stora Stogfeld, southeast of Little Skogfeld. So this is most likely where the vent has opened up, where these 2s are. No 3s that were happening so far. If we add in the 1s and above, get a little clear picture there of kind of what's going on. A few random ones here, just probably related to the stress regime change. And then I don't know, let's see if we get anything here. It might be too early for the data to actually be, yeah, that looks similar to what I showed earlier today. So this may not show those quakes just yet. No, not really. And we know that the locations for here. So not seeing much on that one there. Okay, so let's go back here. And let me see, Amanda Joe's sending me stuff as always. Back. Another webcam. Yeah, if there's other webcams that show things better, much appreciated. Here's one with several views, RUV cams. You can see the distance, and this eruption in the distance here, and then they've got 2 other cams looking out at this. This may be the same cam, maybe viewpoint anyway, just zoomed in because you can see the hills pretty much out there. She's sending me a couple other webcams, so let me go to those and see what we see on these ones. Oh, it's on this one. There. Oh, this is the one we want here. So here's the view from from the road between the airport and going into Reykjavik. Sorry, it's late. So you can actually see the eruption from there. From this viewpoint, it does look like maybe it's a little bit more lengthy than what we were seeing otherwise. Um, yeah, it does give us another perspective. Thanks for sending that, Amanda Joe. And so I'm going to just look at, yeah, I think we're kind of looking maybe along the length of it here. And so when we're looking along its trend, it's not going to really show us the true dimensions as well. This one's a little bit more oblique, so we can see a little bit better there. But I think this other one sent me actually pretty helpful, even though it's further away, because it does give us a better sense of how how lengthy that fissure system is. Again, just looking at it and guesstimating, I doubt it's more than a kilometer or so. Looking at it now, it could be a little bit more, but not nearly on the same scale as some of the other eruptions that we've seen that area. Okay. What else do we have? Yeah, questions. If you have them, we'll try to answer those as best we can. Can we tell from the lava how deep exactly the magma came from? Not really. I mean, obviously the system created a pathway to the surface, and that's clear now. Those earthquakes were clearing a conduit and establishing a conduit to get to the surface. Yeah, thanks to those. Thanks, Elaine. Glad you're with us. Happy to jump on. It was really kind of funny timing because I was watching this. Johan was texting me a little bit. He's out there somewhere. We may hear from him later. And Amanda Joe was going to stick with it, and I actually had signed off with Amanda Joe. I'd said, I'm guessing it's more of an intrusion, just kind of looking at this. And then literally, I was kind of like a few minutes away from hitting the sack, and then she said, "Oh, eruption." So there you go. Yeah, that's not smoke there. This is mostly gases that are coming out. So we're seeing a lot of the volcanic gases escaping with the magma there. Let's go back to one of the. I think it's either a little windy or further away, or maybe it's a little bit foggy, and so the resolution on some of these cameras is a little bit grainy. Okay, so she's got another site here with some photos. So let's check those out. Volcanic Sea, a convenient location. Love that. Yeah, intensity of the swarm just before midnight, Iceland time. Blue Lagoon and the campsite in Grindavik, as well as the town, were evacuated. Yeah, so it was handled well, as you would expect. So this is supposedly the beginning of the eruption here. So you can see it over here on the far left side. Let's go back just a little. That's the eruption beginning. This is some of those steaming craters, right? So it's further north than we might have expected. But with that April 1st intrusion, that lengthened the system. Knew that was likely, that eruption further to the north likely to occur. So she's telling me now. We'll check this out here in a second. She said latest date. So that here. Unless I'm missing something. This map here just shows. It does show where those earthquakes were occurring, but interestingly, the location of the quakes, at least on this, and the location of the vent aren't necessarily overlapping. Let's go back to those photos. folks took, right, just started. Again, like 4 a.m. local time. There's the eruption. Photos there. Probably changes to the hazard map on the risk assessment based on where those earthquakes were occurring. Looks like they kind of centralized that. I'm guessing, though, they might update this and extend it further northeast, since that's where the eruption. This was an hour ago. The excitement in the magma run is not as great as in other events. Yeah, well, things change quickly. So our intrusion or suspected intrusion has turned into an eruption. The expect is a somewhat smaller eruption. Let's see. So more of a general question. Compare zones of Iceland. Yeah, I probably don't have time to explain that in a ton of detail, but the quick thing would be the rift in Africa is on continental crust, so you're getting very different behavior there. You're splitting open a continent versus splitting open an ocean basin. In both locations, you're getting, you're generating magmas, you're getting eruptions. Africa has probably a more diverse suite of volcanoes for the most part. Excuse me. And Iceland, maybe a little bit less so. Yeah, I could probably spend more time on that when I'm a little more awake, but that's a quick take on that. Paul O'Neill, doesn't the slope here mean this threatens the airport highway and the town of Bogar? Thought that was a discussion. Yeah, so if we go back to, let's take one quick look at where it's at. And maybe look at this view here. We do, I mean, it's got quite a ways to go. So you're right that the location of the vent in the fissure right now is, there's a clear gradient, at least on this side of the fissure, that would bring that lava down to the northwest. And eventually, and it would take a lot of a lot of lava erupting to make it all the way to the road. So right now, it is a threat, but I think it's fairly low probability until we just kind of see how this thing gets going and evolves. So if we sort of look at the big picture here, let's take out that 20-second eruption there. And just for kicks, let's just throw in, I don't know where the actual vent and fissure system is, but if I had to hazard a guess, I'd guess it's somewhere pretty close to that location there. A fun symbol. Call it what it is, which is 5 eruption. Stick that there. So if we assume that the vent's somewhere in here, we can play a few games with Google Earth to figure out what we're looking at here. So to the road, we're looking at about 3.8 miles or about 6 kilometers. And that's a straight line distance, right? The lava is not going to just take one straight pathway. We can see we looked at these on the drone flight earlier today. You can see a lot of these fractures here. We also know that it's erupting a bit on top of, at least apparently, this August eruption here. Maybe there's a little bit of open ground here, but it's got these other lava fields around it. Now, if this is really the case, if the vent or part of the vent is here, undoubtedly the vent's longer than this, right? So it's not just a line. But if this is the case, then you could get some channelization of the flow, because this area in black where the lava from last year exists would be higher topographically, and so you could sort of funnel that lava. It's acting like berms right now, right? So that funnel that lava a little bit through here. But nonetheless, at some point, it's going to come out into this open ground. It's going to fan out. It's going to spread out. And it's crossing almost in a perpendicular sort of way these fracture and fault systems that run across here. We've seen these control the behavior of the flows in the past. If you look at this line right here, this is where part of the lava flow ran into one of these fault systems with, basically a wall of rock in front of it, and so it kind of spread out around it. You can see sort of the linear control of some of these fracture systems from the August eruption from last year. And so again, how much of a threat is this eruption to the road and Vogar right now? I mean, it's definitely a concern. We have a erupting volcano, um, but it's not definitely not a foregone conclusion that it's an imminent threat. I think that would be now. Okay, can it go back to yeah, hard to see because I think it's going away from you there, so you can't quite see the whole uh, plume there. I don't know if they have plans to get the helicopter up. The Coast Guard sometimes goes up. Again, maybe this is small enough they do that or not. New update here at 440. The eruption fissure is between 700 to 1,000 meters long and does not appear to be getting longer. So that jives pretty well with my analysis in terms of the length I thought it was, and we weren't really seeing it getting longer. Lava flows appear to be most concentrated to the southeast and do not threaten any infrastructure at this time. So again, still early, nothing super definitive, but wherever this is erupting, it sounds like a lot of it's headed down to the southeast. So it's filling in this area here, and less of it's flowing out this way. So that's good news. We've got plenty of room and real estate out in this region for that lava to accumulate and collect. Really don't want to see a lot of it head out across that 6 kilometer there. So we'll have to see exactly where this is, but if we wanted to put something in here just to give it kind of the right dimensions, we could kind of draw a line here about a kilometer long, about like that. Less, I don't know how it's oriented. Maybe that's not quite the orientation, but it's similar to some of these other lines out there. That in there, beef, I suppose. That beef. So that's possibly where this is at. So that just gives you a little bit of a spatial reference of where this thing may be. Okay, let's see a couple more questions that have been coming in, and I'll just try to keep you guys updated as we go. Suppose if you're on this thing, you're either getting up super early in Europe, staying up late. Late for me, maybe you're California, Hawaii, where it's a little bit earlier. In the misses, we knock off at 10 usually. Get pretty early, but we get up early. Yeah, so let's look at the cams a bit. And if you kind of scroll back here, just doesn't seem to be getting any bigger. And the reason it would get bigger is you've got, you've opened this crack and then it sort of opens like a pair of scissors because you're bringing up this magma. It's pressurized. And as you open it, that means you can try to squeeze even more. And then it sort of is a bit of a runaway effect and it can make that fissure open up even longer. But we're not seeing that there. So that suggests that the length of the present fissure, that 1 or so kilometer length that the Met Office mentioned, is sufficient for now to carry that magma to the surface. There's no need for the fissure to get longer, carry more of that magma up to the surface. Okay, so a couple other questions that from MM. Can we say that all magma has continuity under the crust, or are they localized pockets disconnected from each other? Yeah, they're not all connected. Each, if you think of like the Cascade Mountains in the Pacific Northwest, the magma body and storage chamber underneath Mount St. Helens is separate from Mount Rainier, even though it's the same tectonic setting. You get pods of magma, and we know that to some degree because we can see where magma bodies many millions of years ago have crystallized, solidified, and we can see they have slight differences in chemistry. They're different locations overall. Let's see, is there another update? Got the 441. Oh, they've got a couple pictures. Below is a screenshot from a webcam located just north of Agradelsfjeld, looking southwest. So there's a little better view of the actual length of the fissure. And then you can see a lot of the lava there is pouring out to the east. And see that that pad of lava there, that direction. Yeah, so the magma is separate. It's separate systems, separate vents are fed by separate magma bodies, and so they're more disconnected. Oh, if I woke anyone up with your YouTube alert letting you know, apologize. Maybe you're happy about that. I don't know. Um, yeah, Karen asked, were we expecting this eruption? Not now. Definitely not. Met Office was saying sometime in the autumn. I was sort of in agreement that it was going to take at least another, probably month and a half to 2 months to bring that storage system up to capacity. So I guess what this, excuse me, eruption and intrusion today has maybe taught us, or maybe indicative of, is magma storage system, while it still had capacity seemingly, if I'm right about that, perhaps there were sections of it that it wasn't all connected. Perhaps there were sections of it that were at capacity. The northern zone, it may be filled with magma. There was still magma moving into it, but it was maybe somewhat separate or connected. Like this became a little. Maybe that's what the question was about. That you were talking. Take another. Yeah, we'll do this for a little bit. I think at this, I think got a fairly small eruption that doubt would make it through 10, 12 hours, but it doesn't look like it's going dramatic and windy there. Yeah, so no threat infrastructure now. Yeah, maybe some damage to the road, but again, that would like be here that Icelandic officials, I'm sure, handle this. Quakes. Yeah, so that really I think shows you where. So even though we had an intrusion, this this shows us maybe the length of the location of the go to hour. This is more. These earthquakes are more where the taken place, and that's probably to that. See, probably. Folks, hear me okay? Audio. Not sure what's the audio. Okay. So can you hear me better now? The audio back. Sure. Yeah. Not sure. It's cutting. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. I switched to a different USB port. So hopefully the audio seems to be working better. I noticed the choppiness too once you guys made me aware of that. So hopefully it sounds a little bit better now. I've just moved the headset to a different port. Okay, so it sounds like it's better for folks. Excellent. Good stuff. Let's see here. Okay, great. Glad the audio is working better. Yeah, so limited extent for the length of the fissure. Boy, it's really socked in there. You can just see the glow through some of these webcams. Interesting, because maybe a storm's coming in. So maybe Amanda Joe, or I guess I could check the weather. I can do that as well as anyone. But you know, we did that drone flight with Johan not that long ago, and it was calm. There was no wind for the most part. I don't even think it was that many clouds out. And now the weather looks a little bit rougher. So there's that. Oh, they also have here, looks like the wind's coming out of the southeast, so you can see where that plume of gas is going. So good news for most folks in Iceland. It's headed out mostly over the ocean, a little bit maybe here around Keflavik, so there could be a little bit of gas pollution there. And then the very tip of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula out here. So, but much better this direction than more of a southwest wind, which would bring it right into the capital region. A couple of the images there. We'll keep updating that as best we can. Let's go back to this view, maybe. Things look. Yeah, so Roger, or Rogue Dragon Draxus, yeah, it's not really producing much ash. Most of that, there could be some fine particulates. It is fountaining a bit, but most of what you're seeing there is gas. It's really not producing much tephra. I wouldn't expect the tephra to be going, you know, that far away. Probably not even to that Keflavik area there. What was I doing before? Oh yeah, we're gonna check out this view here. See how that works. Yeah, similar sort of thing here. Fissure's not very long. It'll be interesting to see. The thing I guess to watch for now is how long is it able to sustain the fountain heights. So assuming that the length stays the same, then another sure sign of it waning would be to watch the fountain heights. And if those start to diminish, then likely seeing the eruption starting to kind of wane and fizzle out. Well, the cam's having trouble as well. Nora wants to know what causes ash. Ash is basically lava that is erupted with so much force that you're breaking the lava into fine particles. So ash is actually a size. Ash is anything smaller than 2 millimeters. So we think of, like, it's basically sand size or smaller. But sand is rocks that have eroded and been moved by water or wind or ice. Ash is lava. It's a volcanic particle that is propelled out by explosive behavior. And in this case, we're not seeing, like, you know, really explosive behavior, but it is fountaining, so it is producing a small amount of ash. When you get bigger fountains like what we've seen in Kilauea with these eruptions, where I think we're on, we just finished episode 28, and I think 29 is expected to start anytime between Thursday and Sunday over in Hawaii. But those eruptions, because they're pumping out a very narrow vent and much more gas-rich magma, and they're getting a bit of a nozzle effect, so it's throwing that lava up 1,000 feet or so, 300 plus meters. It is producing quite a bit of ash and sort of frothy, more, I guess, gravel to marble-sized particles, what we'd call lapilli tephra. So ash is a size. Anything thrown out of the volcano that is airborne is tephra, or pyroclastic material, and then we differentiate it further by size. Ash is the smallest size. Lapilli would be, you know, that sort of medium size from BB to maybe golf ball size, and anything bigger than a golf ball, or what we call blocks or bombs. So a nice question there. Happy to answer that. Other things Amanda Joe is sending me. Oh, there's a button in the bottom right to zoom in the Vogastopi camera. Okay, good to know. Thank you for informing me of that. Oh, I do see the little zoom thing there. So we can zoom, drag it a little bit. Doesn't look like it goes. 1.5 is about the best you can do. So that's about the best view we can get there from that camera. But that is still helpful. So thanks for letting me know. Oh, you can take pictures with it and stuff. Let's see. Assuming it just took a photo. Download started. Look at me taking pictures with webcams. Flying drones, doing all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, so Nora, hopefully that was a good answer to your question about what causes ash. Oh, and Susan's on here. Thank you, Susan. Boy, it's really late for you. Feel bad making all these folks get out of bed and hang out with me, but I appreciate it. Yeah, so let's go back to, let's check. We'll keep checking the Met Office to see updates there. I think at this point now, you know, webcams, the earthquake, you know, we're not going to see a whole lot of earthquake activity if we go back to like 15 minutes ago. Yeah, there you go. Like the eruption has started, the conduit's open, so the earthquake sort of take a back seat in terms of being super indicative of anything. What we have seen though in the past is sometimes these eruptions start. I believe this was the case with the November eruption, if I remember right. That was further up this direction as the eruption started, but then we also saw earthquakes continuing beyond where the fissure was, and of course those earthquakes were indicative of the fissure lengthening, breaking rock at depth, and then eventually the fissure came up and lengthened in that area. We're not seeing that here, so it seems very unlikely that the fissure is going to lengthen at any point moving forward. We just have these earthquakes around the vent, not much else. And so that's sort of where we're at with that. There we are 4 hours ago. That camera's not helpful. That one's a little better. Oh, so now Amanda Jo sent me an aerial view. Someone's got like a drone shot or something. Let's see if I can pull that up. Oh, so our good friend Hordor, who shares things on his Instagram and such, we'll go ahead and put that in here. So here's some video footage he's got with his drone of the eruption taking place. So again, you can see the full extent of it there. It looks like it's one singular fissure. Sometimes we see these things offset in what we call an N echelon pattern. So he's got some nice footage there. He says he was on location when it started. Here are shots from the first moments. Stay tuned for more. And it's the 12th eruption on the Reykjanes since 2021. And it's the second one this year for 2025. I'm writing it down on my little, I've got a little sticky note next to my computer that has the dates of all the eruptions. So in terms of near Grindavik in this area, this would be number 9. So since fall 2023, this would be our 9th eruption. Excellent. So thanks for sending that as well, Amanda Jo. Webcams. There. Similar there. That one. Check for Met Office update. Going on. Let's see, anything else in the chat? So yeah, if you're here and helping us out, appreciate it. Thanks to Susan and Amanda Jo for literally burning the midnight oil, staying awake to help us with this. Yeah, we'll do this a little bit longer, perhaps, and then I'll probably call it an evening. I'll probably do an update tomorrow, so I'm sure when I get into the office tomorrow, there'll be some more information, some more data that we can look at together. Be interesting to see what the analysis is on this, but very likely that, you know, the worst of this has come and gone. Yeah, Manajo saying nothing new in the news just yet. You know, and that's what's interesting is if this was, you know, if this was 2019, this would be a big deal, right? An eruption on the Reykjanes Peninsula. We haven't seen eruptions in 800 years. You know, it's sort of near the road and not too far from the airport in these towns. But, you know, we've seen these before. And so, lest we be complacent, though, it is interesting how, and even myself, I find myself like, oh yeah, another eruption's happened. I told my wife like, it started erupting, so I'm gonna probably go in and, you know, we want to check on things and that. But, you know, definitely was a little bit more excitement back in December of 2023 when we had that first eruption. So, but it's still fun. It's still interesting. It's crazy that we literally just flew over this area. Like Johan, like had he stayed a few hours later, he would have been maybe too close. He would have been very close with his Subaru there on the hillside, looking right at this thing. So we just missed catching it by a few hours, but pretty crazy that it happened today of all the days. Yeah, landscapes continuing to change, just crazy stuff. Someone wants me to rewind back on the Singerfeld Nord camera to 355. Okay, so let's do that then. So here we go to 353. Is that like, is there a time on the camera? Okay, here we go. So 8. Yeah, and so if we watch that far left, this is the area to kind of watch here once I get this in the right spot. And then we can see it kind of start. That'll be fun. So 3:49 in the morning. You know, it looked like it had rained a bit. There's a couple drops on the camera. There's those steaming craters there. Johan was flying from somewhere over here, base of these hills. And then let's skip forward to 353 as they suggest. So here we are at 352. Okay, so it should start any second now. I'll just let it go real time. Watch this area here. Probably we'll see a little plume of gas come up first. Typically see. And then the lava coming up with it like really quickly thereafter. Let's see. Oh, looks like it's coming right there. See it? Gas, just kind of heavy gas, just kind of oozing out across the ground. And let's see when we see the first glow of red. Hard to tell from this view. I mean, we're quite a ways away. A little bit bigger for you. Here we go. Let's take it back a bit. Yeah, so we are 353. It really does start right about there. I can start to see a little thing right there. I'd put it like 353 in like 10 seconds would be my approximation of when it actually begins. And yeah, so this would be hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, just heavy, dense gases. So they're not rising up into the air. They're actually staying pretty close to the ground. And then I would take it back to, where do we see the first lava? Again, we're looking at this from several kilometers away. Maybe right there. Yeah, about 30 seconds. At the 30-second mark, it looks like to me is about where the eruption actually begins in terms of lava coming up to the surface. And then what we should see just kind of moving forward is that lengthen. I think they'll probably move the camera at some point once they realize they had an eruption on their hands. They probably, maybe not, move the camera and zoom in a bit. Here we are, a couple minutes. Yeah, and here we go. They move the camera. Yeah, right there, kind of center things. Centering. Then I don't know if they were able to zoom or not, or if this was, yeah, so then they were able to zoom. They are zooming. Get in focus. Well done, camera operators. And then there's your eruption. So yeah, that was fun. Thanks for letting us go back to the actual initiation point of that. That's always cool to see. I think seeing the vent open up and seeing the eruption begin, I think is always kind of a neat thing to see. That before, with that camera, it's just not being helpful. See, it's not live. Yeah, that one's just sucked in, wherever that one is. This one's still pretty good. And these ones are too. Okay, so I have a real treat for you. Let's see if I can find it. But I think Johan just messaged me and sent me, find it. A video, see if this works, of the eruption. Let's see if this worked. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna show you Johan with Nature Eye. So quick plug for Nature Eye. They do drone flights. You can operate the drone remotely. I've done it several times. I did it today. You can use my name, Shawn Fly, SHAWNFLY, to fly a drone on your own. Maybe book one tomorrow with Nature Eye if they have openings. Okay, so let's look at this video about 3:49. So it looks like he took off from over by the Blue Lagoon, a place we call Eagle's Nest. We are going by, this is I think Stora Stogfelt here. Try not to use my cursor because the color goes a little different. So this is Johan at Nature Eye's flight in. He says he's sending me another one. Send him a quick message to say thank you. So the good news is, you know, even at like midnight or whenever he took this, it's still light enough, right? Still close enough to summer solstice that you can see everything pretty nicely. So yeah, you can see that that fissure is not super lengthy in terms of its, you know, dimensions. We've seen much longer fissure eruptions out in this area. Be interesting to see exactly where that lines up. I mean, it looks like it's pretty close to the actual crater row there. Thank you, Yomogami, for your kind donation. We should be going over, this might be March or August lavas here. I have to check my map. Yeah, Nora, intrusion just means magma that moves through the subsurface and doesn't come up to the surface, so it stays underground. You can see it's near that cone there, all the way on the right. But again, those are, the fountains are pretty short. Those are just a few tens of meters high. This is not erupting with the same vigor as we've seen other eruptions here. It's still impressive. It's still beautiful. Perfect lighting. Holy cow. Like that's the ideal lighting conditions right there. As you can still see the landscape, see the sky, but it's dark and dim enough that the incandescent glow of the lava really kind of pops. Great job here with Johan's video. Yeah, there was some warning, Lee Child. They did see the earthquake swarm come in. They evacuated the Blue Lagoon, the campground, the town. Um, they had the sirens were going off, and so they were able to get everyone out well before anything else happened. I think actually a couple hours before. Gosh, that's a beautiful shot there. Oops, what did I just do? Let me go back just to Scotia here, team. Apologies. Get a couple screenshots when. Yeah, and from this view, it looks like it's. I think the Met Office had said it was expanding. The lava was going to the southeast more, but from this view, it looks like there's still quite a bit going towards the west. Yeah, it looks pretty symmetrical from there. I mean, we can't see a lot through the gases, but it does look like it's somewhat symmetrical. Beautiful work there, Johan. I don't know if he probably can't hear me or not, but I'll let him know. Really great. Really great stuff here. Taking a couple of screenshots as I go. Yeah, we don't need the Coast Guard overflight. We've got our own pilot on the ground there. So he sent that one to me and then said he was going to send another one. So I will let you know when I get that one. And let's see, Amanda Joe says there's a new update from the Met Office. Okay, so yeah, here's the latest. Here's our map. Our long-awaited map. The fissure opened about 3:54 a.m. local time. Extended slightly to the north at the beginning, but has remained stable for the last hour. Estimated length of the fissure is about 700 meters. So here's the real thing: is how well did I locate it? So you can see kind of where it sits there. There's that little kipuka. Let's actually zoom in a little bit there. Get this thing kind of located. Make it a little bit smaller. There we go. We have Lilla Skogafelt here, Stora Skogafelt, and then that little kipuka. And so it's a scale. Sorry, team. Okay, so there's our little scale bar. It's maybe, yeah, it's about looks like it's about a kilometer in from that kipuka there. So let's see, how well did I do? I bet I'm pretty close. There. Yeah, I was off a little bit, so it should be a little bit closer to over here. So we will change it. Here more. Maybe it's something more like this. This too. Okay, so that looks like we maybe got it a little bit more properly located for my purposes here. That's probably pretty close. I'll probably mess with that a little bit further, but just kind of eyeballing it. Yeah, so there's the Met Office update for where that fissure sits, sort of on the landscape. You know, superimposed. All of it looks like pretty much superimposed on these older flows. We can actually see, so it's a little bit on the November, no, sorry, the August 22nd, 2024 flow, and there's the November flow. So it's mainly on those, but it also overlaps a little bit with, let's see, there's the December flow. No, not quite there. March was further south. May was further south too. Yeah, so it looks like it's only overlapping with, got all the flows in here. The August one, that's the August one there. And then maybe a little bit with November. So those are the main two flows that were this far. Okay, so the orange is November, keeping track, and the more black one is the August one. play around with that later. Okay, good stuff. So a new update from the Met Office. And then the gas map there with the gas pollution. Excellent. Question from Jormunder. Jormunder, are the fissures moving further north each time an eruption happens? Is Reykjanesbrut in risk soon? Maybe, according to maps, the road is only 5 kilometers from Skogafjeld to the north. I mean, eventually, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case with this eruption, but you know, I think it hasn't. I mean, the stumbling here. A few of the recent eruptions. I mean, if we go through the whole sequence here, this might be somewhat instructive. Let me see. Let me move these two things. This one down here, so own thing. Okay, so if we go through our first eruption, let's take out the little line here. Where's this little line out of my thing? Oh, it's right here. So, okay, so the first eruption, December 2023, is here. January is way down to the south near Grindavik, if you remember that. February was back up in that same area. Give you some perspective here. March, kind of the same area. May, similar area. August, further north, right? So I think maybe your basic premise is somewhat correct that if we look at the last few eruptions, except the April 1st one, that's going to be the anomaly here. So there's August 22nd, shown kind of in the black. Then the November eruption in the orange there. So that's November of last year, November 20th, again, kind of at the north end. But then we had the April 1st eruption, which was really mostly an intrusion. We had a little bit of magma squirt out here at the south end, shown in yellow. So I think generally, I mean, it's only happened a couple times now. And now we have this eruption here, this July 15th, 2025 eruption. So yeah, sort of. Are the fissures moving further north each time an eruption happens? Not necessarily. Has there been a bit of a trend with the last few eruptions that way? Yes, and especially because we had that whole dike open up on April 1st, and that lengthened the whole system. So now we know that magma is in the subsurface, either in a partially solidified form or some other form, all the way out to maybe as far as this point here. So it definitely has increased the risk for the road, Reykjanesbrut, the road from the airport to the capital area. Interesting question there. Okay, let's check things out one more time and maybe start to wind this down a little bit. Again, if you joined us, appreciate it. We had an eruption here. If you're joining us a little bit late, fairly small eruption. It's not near any infrastructure. Let me see if Johan has sent me the second video one. Next one, he said, is uploading. So let me go back to that same folder, because that was some pretty cool video. I think the folks like that. Okay, so here, give you guys something to look at. Okay, so here is another one. Oh yeah, here's the next one. Here's the next video. Download it first, so it takes a second. Be a little bit bigger. And again, thanks to Johan from NatureEye for being out there in the dark. Well, not totally in the dark, I suppose. And putting together those nice flights. All right, is it ready? Not quite. Seconds to go. Someone in the live chat mentions that it looks like it's extending further north on this webcam. Yeah, not sure. Maybe. I don't know how you would. I don't know how you'd exactly tell from this unless you're able to kind of watch it for a while. Playing, yeah, live now. Oh, it's buffering. Oh yeah, I guess we know it when we see the cars zip by, right? And let's see. Yeah, we might be doing a flight with Johan here in a second. So, okay, yeah, not sure about that, folks. Sorry, trying to juggle a couple of things here. Trying to get you. Okay, here is the other flight he sent. Take a look at this, and we might be flying with him here in a second. Well, ooh, that's nice. That is a beauty. So I think this is just the next file from the same flight. It looks like this kind of looks like this picks up where the last one ended. Correct. Yeah, so just really nice fountaining there, and then feeding out these lava flows. They're extending out both to the west and to the east. That's about 1 kilometer in length, a little less than that, maybe about 700 meters, according to the Met Office. See a little bit of fountaining here at the left corner, just a little bit spitting out a bit. People always want to know what it would sound like. It sort of sounds like a pulsating jet engine is the way I've tried to describe it. It's kind of a throaty, weird sound. Yeah, and unfortunately, the drone, some drones do have the audio on it, but a lot of times, you know, as the drone's flying around or it's windy, that's probably what you'd mainly be picking up is the sound of the wind and the air moving past the drone. But pretty flat topography here. Those flows don't seem to be moving terribly fast. They look a bit sluggish. And that leading edge there of the flow on the east side towards Fagradalsfjall. Looks like he's coming back to the south to look along Fisher. Grabbing a couple of screenshots as he does that. Yeah, and there you can see that wind kind of, again, moving to the kind of north-northwest primarily. You can really see some of these flows are moving. The flow front's not moving super fast, but some of the channels, you can see some of these blocks of solidified crust moving a little bit more quickly. Let's see. Manager wants to know if it's so unusual it's so linear of a fissure. No, a lot of times they can come up straight like that. If they're really long, they'll tend to be segments that are offset a little bit. So there'll be, you know, one long section, then it steps to the left or to the right, and then another long section. So given that it's only 700 meters or so, Amanda Joe, it's not that surprising. It'd be harder to have something much longer, something that was, you know, many kilometers in length. To get that to be straight, it would tend to be a little bit more segmented. So great video there from Johan. Haven't heard back from him, so I don't know if the flight thing is happening for sure or not. Let's see. Did he send me any? I can see. Okay. Yeah, for us to go to him, he has to send me like the Nature Eye light, and then I can open that up, and then we can link to him. Yeah, we'll see if that happens in the next few minutes, and then we can go to him. And if not, we could maybe circle back and try again tomorrow. It's still erupting, but we did get some nice drone flight footage there from Johan, which is really spectacular. How's everything else going on in the chat there? Anything else I know about? Gas at the bottom is venting. Does that mean it's expanding? Sure there. Saw a plane fly over. We have several viewers that are there that are, you know, in this part of Iceland. Cool. Let's see. Yeah, Nora, I'm not sure what your question. Gas at the bottom is venting. Does that mean it's expanding? Well, as the gases rise, they expand. That's what's helping propel the magma upwards. Is the gases, which are less dense and more buoyant, are going to rise up through the magma. That's going to push the magma up. As they get closer to the surface, there's less pressure on them, which means they can expand. As they expand, they have more buoyancy and more force to lift more magma. And then that's why it tends to just really fountain and actually shoot out of the ground there at the surface, like we're seeing right there. Sorry if I didn't understand your question immediately. It is kind of late here. I'm much fresher in the morning, team. I'm not a night owl. Not a night owl by any means. Someone, Shona, thinks my eruption line is a little off. I think it should be along the fissure row a bit to the northwest. All right, well, let's correct that. I was just kind of doing it on the fly. Well, if I put it there, that would put it, maybe should I just place it right on top of the intrusion? That might make sense, is that it's pretty close to that. So we could shown it to be happy. I'm going to put it kind of next to it instead of like on it, if that's okay. And then let's see, we got to move this little guy here too as well. There. There. That work for you? Hopefully. Yeah, I just did that real quick. Happy to go back and correct that later. Intrusion. Yeah, there is kind of a crude set of fractures or some sort of crude linear feature here. There's a vent there. Again, this is all before any of this was erupting. I guess we need to. There, looks good. All right, so we've got that fixed. Good to go. Lava is now 1 square kilometer in terms of area. Nice. Yeah, folks staying up late. Yeah, nothing, nothing dramatic going on, right? We have an eruption. We have some cool science going on. We have a visual spectacle, but nothing where, a road's about to be taken out or it's flowing towards a town or the Blue Lagoon or anything like that. I'm going to stall a little bit longer and see if Johan jumps on. Otherwise, we'll probably bow out here in a bit, if that sounds okay. Appreciate everyone for jumping on, especially Manda Joe and Susan. Yeah, super fun. It's just fun to share this with everyone. So we've got a couple of good videos we were able to watch. Hordher, has this nice one here. We got to see the one from Johan, sort of in 2 sections. Check the webcams here again. We can also check the, oh, wait, we might have a flight here. I've got, oh, all right. Looks like we are going to fly. I have a flight from Johan. So give me a second here, team, to turn my brain on. Why can't we get Iceland eruptions convenient for me? Some of them have been. There have been a couple that were. Okay, I am logged in. That is the correct flight, is it not? Yep. Okay. Okay, so we should be able to jump on here with Johan in a second. He turned on his audio. You guys will be able to hear him. Hey, and Lisa's here too. New Zealand. I'm gonna take a quick drink. Yeah, Skagit, you can hang in there a little longer. It's just sleep, right? Okay, so we gotta wait a minute maybe or so, and then this proceed to gate button will turn blue, and then I can go in, and we should be off to the races. All right, I'm just texting Johan real quick here, team. Oh. There we go. It's green. Hello, Mr. Johan. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I will be sure to thank Johan for you all. He is a great guy. He hasn't even gone to bed. He did our live stream, got evacuated, had to leave, found a place to fly his drone. Running on fumes, that guy. All right. All right, so we're just waiting for him to connect us and join us. And then we will be off to the races here, I suppose. Yeah, he said sent the second recording. We did see that. We got to see both. Johan is a night owl. Yeah, and so is Amanda Joe. I'm like the sleepy dwarf in this team. Although I get up early, so. All right, so hopefully we will get connected here. What's he saying now? He's coming. Okay, so he's on his way. No worries. He's probably out there scrambling around, charging batteries, swapping them out, and whatnot. Good anticipation though here. Yeah, to kind of recap, let's see a couple folks like asking kind of what was going on. Oh, here we go. Hello, hello. I can hear you. You're making noise. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Shawn. How you doing?
Good. How are
Yeah.
you? Long time no talk, right?
We came up, well, our podcast ago.
Yeah. Yeah, did some weather come in?
Well, yeah, well, no,
Right.
I think well,
Right.
remember
Right.
between the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Between the mountains, great weather. But yeah, so I did these two videos. Did you show the second one?
Yeah, I did. They were fantastic. Holy cow. The
All
light,
right,
I
yeah.
mean, just like perfect lighting. You can see the ground, you can see the sky and the glow. It was like, it
I
was
was
pretty.
here, but I sent you those videos of our February to April 24 crater, which was smoking heavily and is now, uh, even before there was rain. So I mean, something was up. And as you said yourself, the quakes were actually, well, the epicenter was sort of between Stora Skofell and Seelingafell.
Yeah,
So
the
it,
usual spot we would expect, right?
it kind of fit the picture that we'd have an eruption in that more than year-old crater group. But that's good. I mean, it's in a great place. It's not going to the Blue Lagoon
Yeah.
power plant. It's not going down to Grindavik.
Yeah, and it looks like a
Uh,
small amount too.
yeah, I was just hoping it would be like best of all worlds. It would be a little bit longer than April the 1st, but
Yeah.
then not big enough or long enough to threaten anything or anybody.
Well,
So we
it
could
might
just,
last longer than April 1st. That was like a 2 hour event, if that, and then it was kind of over.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, we got you
It was
live,
fun.
so yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
We're in your good hands, and we appreciate you staying up and doing this for us. People are on the live chat and super excited, and everyone's expressing their gratitude to you. So thank you.
yeah. Um, I actually was on the way just before the eruption. I literally drove down the road and went down to the main street, saw the eruption, and drove back. So I was just, I was thinking of going up on Mount Thorbjorn for Ryan Lochtenberg for the
Yeah.
Alphard TV cameras because I was kind of fixing one of them, switching network, and I've got a SIM card to put in one of them. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that
Well,
now.
gosh, if you would have stayed put from where we were this earlier this evening, you would have been like front row Joe right there in front of it.
Yeah, but then again, I
It,
kind of would have to not stay there.
yeah, I was gonna say maybe too close, right? At least
Yeah,
the wind's blowing in a good direction, at least. So, but
it would have
yeah,
been a great spot, but I wasn't like planning on camping there.
yeah.
See.
Well, we appreciate you nonetheless, my good friend. So thank you.
I got my scarf on, so
Okay.
you can't hear the wind,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, you sound fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's my power station here. Got a
I
bunch of batteries charged.
definitely hear
Yeah,
that.
all right. It looks like we are flying.
I can't see anything yet.
No, we can't. I'm just saying, looks like
Oh,
we're
okay.
we're gonna fly.
Okay. Yeah, if the weather looks good, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, it's kind of windy. We won't have much battery. I'm gonna start up the drone and
Okay.
I got the modem on.
Yeah, we just don't have,
So
we have everything but visual right now. We don't have any
yeah, because the
video.
drone's not on.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I was just letting you know.
No, I was saying I got the modem, so we're just gonna use the 4G modem, so I don't have to stand like an idiot somewhere for line of sight.
Right.
And we could do a recording while we stream. That requires an SD card. Okay, there is an SD card in the drone. Can you believe that? All right, cool.
All right. So we will be getting ready to go here in a minute, friends, and fly over this area and check it out.
All right.
We've got it located on the map pretty well now. The Met Office put out a map. Know where we're at.
Ooh, ah. I'm actually just using the modem so I can stay in the car.
Yeah. No worries.
All right. Okay, we don't need the roof radio since we got you. All right. My colleague here is hand launching the drone. This drone is struggling in the wind. All right. So I'm gonna do my checklist. So for the technology geeks, I've got a 4G modem with a SIM card with a static IP address, a public IP address. So it just works much better.
We still don't have a
Okay.
camera yet, just so you know.
I know.
Okay.
Well,
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't messing up something on my end. I get nervous.
no. You only mess up the sound.
Yeah. Among other things.
All right.
So yeah,
No,
friends, we'll be taking off from a different spot, the Eagle's Nest, which is over towards the north of the power plant Blue Lagoon area, flying to the east to get over to the eruption site. And remember, this is all courtesy of our good friends at Nature Eye, so you can go check out their site, book a flight in Iceland or some other location, and get 10% off if you use the code ShawnFly, ShawnFly. Yeah, so be good and kind to our good friends at Nature Eye. Appreciate it. Great gift idea, or just something for yourself.
yeah, we're doing education flights for schools. So if there are any teachers,
Yeah,
anyone working in this the education sector, then on our website
yeah,
under
great
education,
experience.
there is information about how to get in touch.
That mean you're gonna have a busy day tomorrow, maybe, if this keeps up? Who knows?
Like you, I have a feeling it's going to be a short
Yeah.
eruption. going to switch us over here to Starlink. I forgot.
One of the viewers just said they gave their son a flight for his birthday, so there you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's working.
And you can invite, if you have a flight, you can invite a friend wherever he is in the world.
To
connect.
experience it with you, yeah.
Yeah, from two different. You can of course be in the same location, like two laptops in the same.
Right, but you could also be separated, yeah.
Yes, precisely. All right. Oh, that's your flight right here. No, wait. That's not your flight.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Ah, it's the 5:45. Yeah.
Yeah. That's me.
I already made you a flight.
Ah, there we go. Now we have visual. I can see the bottom of the Subaru and some windy grass.
Yeah, try not to hit my car on your way up.
Okay. Okay, taking off now.
All right. I'm gonna just turn off the car. Brake left, turn left towards. Don't go so high.
Okay. Stay low.
And just stay like that. Are you going forward?
Yeah, I'm pushing forward.
Mm.
There we go. Now we're moving. There we go. There's the direction.
All right.
Yeah, so it doesn't, I don't know how long you've been able to get some of the updates, Johan, but the fissure length hasn't really increased.
No.
So it doesn't seem to be, didn't have a lot of power to it, but still interesting that we got this at all. Like, just definitely wasn't on my radar at all, or anyone's, I think, to have the eruption this early.
Right. I'm just gonna sports mode fly us over there.
Yeah, go ahead, take over. That's great.
Quickly as
Yep.
possible.
Yeah, we can save more of the battery that way. Kind of more of a crosswind here with the wind kind of moving across to the northeast or northwest.
Yeah. We'll see. Can't go much further away from the car. Your quality is good?
Yeah, that looks great.
All right. Wind is changing somewhat. Oh yeah, it's coming off the mountain here.
Yeah, it's probably wrapping around the mountain and doing all sorts of weird things.
Yeah, a little wind shear. Often in conditions like these, the wind is lower when you go a little higher sometimes.
No, that video you sent, I think you got it at just the right time. Like, the lighting was just incredible. It's obviously a lot brighter out now.
My colleague here got almost the exact same video from the same angle, except, his is better.
Is that Horther? Or someone else? We saw one from him on Instagram that Amanda Joe sent us. Horther Christofson?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were both very good.
We really should be flying my drone.
Yeah.
I got it here in the trunk, but we haven't.
Something that can handle the wind a little better.
Yeah. Wind is.
And there was no, like, it wasn't that many hours ago. There was no wind when we were flying earlier, like none.
Yeah, like almost negative wind.
Yeah, and now, now you got like this stiff wind out of the south.
Yeah, weather here can change
Yeah,
abruptly.
classic Iceland.
Yeah, but these.
So that cone to the right, which date is that one from?
That's the one that's Skeletor.
Okay.
Skeletor's
Yep.
castle
Right.
from the last crater, the northernmost crater from the Christmas
August one
Eve
or November?
eruption.
Yeah. Oh, December. Yeah.
Yeah, November into December.
The first one.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
it even looks like the fountains are even smaller than they were. Like it doesn't like it's just a few tens of meters now.
most definitely, yes.
I mean, compared to what you showed with that video you took earlier, doesn't it look smaller to you?
It does.
Yeah. I think it's already starting to wane just a few hours into it.
We're struggling against 17 meters a second here.
Yeah, you can see some of the flows there, the middle ground there, coming out from the fissure. But they're not going to go very far, especially with that kind of output. I think it's going to be a pretty limited aerial extent for the field.
Well, with our predictions today and all, anything can happen. I mean, it could tear open to the north or another segment.
Yeah.
It's unlikely though, but
Yeah, I just think it didn't have enough. It wasn't filled to capacity, but for whatever reason, there was enough in this section of the system under pressure that it pushed through to the surface.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that it actually did erupt this way and here, because you remember the April 1st when it was trying to break out
Right.
at this northern end, and there was like this white outgassing.
Right. Yeah.
That usually comes out of the fissure line, which is coming from everywhere, and it was like sulfur yellow, not white. So
Right.
it was like just trying to break out, but kind of couldn't, and just sort of sprouted horizontally down into Grindavik instead.
Right.
So I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you can. I'm fine with you just like with the wind and stuff. We'll probably get more bang for our buck if you just do it. Yeah.
Just work with me and work the camera here.
Yeah,
maybe,
I'll get some pictures while you're here. See that big lava field off to the east that's starting to solidify, crust over. Fountains are still going here.
We can record a new 4K when you've taken some photos. Oops.
Wow, it looks great.
Now the wind is only 11, so.
Oh.
Mm,
There's a big spatter down there at that end. You see that?
I mean, it is still going strong, but it's just similar to before.
Right.
From this angle here, it's the best angle to really see it.
Yeah, it looks so puny from a distance, but now that we're a little closer, I mean, it's.
Whoa.
I don't think it's 100 meters though, but maybe like 50 meters height. Hard to say.
What's going on at the other end? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
No, I'm not going there.
Yeah, that's fantastic right there.
We're going to stay on the safe side and just, ship home, get a new battery, rather than risk the drone.
Right.
Because this looks great. Looks very familiar, of course, from our previous eruptions. But molten basalt always looks I think, Sean, if you have a son, you should call him Basil.
I have two sons, but I don't think the missus would that would be a little bit rough. Rhyolite and basalt, so those are the two names. Just all rock names.
See, it does actually extend quite a distance there to the north.
Yeah, I mean, there's a surprisingly large mountain. There's a channel right there, kind of like in the distance a bit, that's moving pretty quickly, like about halfway up the fissure.
Tell you what, let's get back, pick another battery, and
Okay.
get back here.
Okay.
We also sort of want to see how the wind.
Yeah, you might,
because, you know,
a little bit of a tailwind this way, right?
Yeah, but you never know, because, you know, in Iceland, when you I mean, you go somewhere, you have the wind in your face, then you walk back home, and the wind is again in your face.
Right, like the parent that tells you they walked uphill in the snow both ways to get to school.
Yeah, I mean, wonder if we can get in from the other side. Nah, I'm gonna risk it.
Yeah, it's kind of in a tricky spot because, I mean, there's no other close access point, is there?
Well,
I mean, it's either Eagle's Nest or the place we flew from earlier today. Those are probably the two places.
That would be a really good spot, actually.
Yeah, you're probably closer at the other spot, but trickier to get in there with your car, I suppose.
Yeah, it could be over when I mean, I have to drive really slow.
Yeah. Yeah, versus Eagle's Nest, you can get to really quickly. It's just off the road.
Also want to just make sure the modem is actually working here.
Amanda Joe says, just in on the news report, lava is flowing to the east and north mainly. I think we saw a lot of it going to the east, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's very sort of quintessential, like it's going in both directions, fanning out in both directions. But I'm mostly interested, you know, in that segment up north. Do you know anything about if it's opening up further to the north?
Well, there's no earthquakes going on that would, you know, usually if it was going to be opening and ripping up further to the north, you'd see earthquakes going along with that. And we just don't see those yet. So, it doesn't really show any signs to it. And looking at the webcams just every so often, it looks like it's kind of the same length, more or less. You got a little party going on there at Eagle's Nest. 4 or 5 of you there.
Yeah, Rue was late to the party. He was just filming from a tripod. I think he got something nice.
We had quite a bit of battery left. That's good.
Yeah.
So we'll swap out a battery here, folks, and get out there again with Johan. Do one more flight.
I forgot I had a couple of rocks here on the nature iPad. So.
There's that basalt again.
Yeah, all right. Let's do a quick swap.
So we'll swap out the battery, do another flight. Someone's asking, how high can you fly a drone in Iceland?
About 120 meters, 400 feet.
Okay.
Normally. But sometimes we have to fly at 60 meters.
Right.
But yeah, so there's a 30 meter or 100 feet buffer zone between drone maximum height and civil aviation minimum height.
Yeah, and for those of you wondering, I think we like to keep the drone kind of low when we fly out there when it's windy, because it's a little less windy closer to the ground, so a little less drag and energy that the drone needs to kind of use.
Home point updated. Check map to confirm.
All right. Make sure we are on the modem.
The home point has been updated.
All right, looks good.
All right, you can take off.
Yeah, I'll get us up, and then if you want to get us out there, that'd be great.
Woo.
A little wobbly there, coming off the deck.
Yeah, I strategically positioned it behind the car. Where there's a little bit of
Turbulence coming up.
all right.
Is everyone else there with you? A bunch of drone operators? Everyone's just flying their drones right there? Or?
Yeah, most of them were late to the party.
Yeah.
I was maybe somewhat too early.
Yeah, but you got the really good lighting, and I thought those videos look spectacular. You're getting a call in the morning from NBC News or something.
No, I mean, they were just point and shoot, more or less. But yeah, they turned out okay.
I thought they looked really
So I'm not really a cinematographer.
Oh, don't be modest.
Well, you know, my new company, Open Drone Tech, or Droneteknie EHF, is about building drones. So, you know, I want to build drones for people who do land surveys or spectacular cinematography, as opposed to, like, you know, doing that myself. You know, Nikola Tesla was once asked, like, why didn't you make more money from all your inventions? I mean, why aren't you the richest man in the world? And he looked at the interviewer with contempt and said, I'm not a farmer. So, you know, that's my favorite quote.
Right. Classic.
That's classic, yes. Well, I'm not comparing myself to Nikola Tesla. It's just, you know, I'm just copying his
Yeah,
method.
well, yeah. It's a good quote, so I use it.
Well, I think we're on the modem because it's losing signal and it's still good, right?
Yeah, it still looks fine.
Just tell me if it starts lagging on your end. I'll get out of the car and get line of sight signal.
No, I think right now it looks pretty good.
Wait, I wasn't on sports mode. Let's fly faster here. All right. And the lighting and the focus. As much as you can work with it.
Carpets of moss.
Right. All right. Wind here is better. It's 11-ish. You have to be careful with this new DJI firmware. It's got more safety features, I guess. Like it wants to just land sometimes or go lower. I'm going to get out of the car just in case.
Okay.
All right. It's probably better also for on your side.
Yeah, it's looking good.
So when I do, you know, the education flights or group flights or important flights, I usually have a laptop, so on a separate connection. So I'm like watching the end product. Whoa! See?
Oh, is that the wind that just moved you?
No, it's just it sometimes just wants to go down.
Yeah.
When the conditions are severe. It's a feature, not a bug. That's exactly what I was just describing. And if you're doing like low signal or you're on a 4G modem, then you know, this little connection glitch for a couple of seconds can lose you the drone if it does that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're gonna have to do this strategically, much like you sail into the wind on a boat. And we'll get there with some battery left.
Yeah, I think it looks like it's more full.
Right, I'm just gonna start zooming in so we can start seeing something already.
Good.
All right.
Right, so we're at
That will,
the south end of the fish. Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna try and loop around the corner like we did on our last flight.
Okay.
So we can sort of take a peek around the corner and see what's going on here
Big
on the
lava
other
flow
side.
field there. Yeah.
So yeah, it's fanning out here to the east quite a bit.
Yeah, and there's a big channel out there going northeast. See that tongue way
Let's
out there? Yeah.
not get hit by a lava flak. That would be less than ideal.
Okay.
And you got some photos here already.
Yeah, I've taken several from both of them. These are really good.
All right, I'm gonna start a 4K recording for you.
Okay.
All right, and
Slow mo- there. Oh,
wow, I see my colleague here got one of these Matrice 4s, which is ostensibly the new upgraded version of the Mavic Enterprise. So like the upgrade from Mavic 3 Enterprise. It's really struggling in the wind. Well, maybe it just looks like it's really going.
no, the imagery's insane. It looks great. See, it's just kind of bubbling up. That crust is just right over the molten there. And then that section's the sections that's moving. You can see it's moving out to the right.
That is true.
Channel out there. And then there's a big channel. See that big channel? Yeah, right there. There's a big channel. Yeah, you found it. Down just a little bit. Yeah, right there. Yeah, there's a nice channel really moving out to the east. You can't hear it from where you are, can you? Because it's too windy.
No, I can only hear wind.
Okay.
Anyway,
Good stuff. Yeah, so folks can book a flight with Nature Eye and Johan, either here in Iceland or one of their other destinations. Even when it's not erupting, it's still a really neat experience flying over these landscapes. Go to natureeye.com, put in the promo code ShawnFly. That'll get you 10% off. Book a flight. The drone operator's there to make sure you get a good experience and everything goes well. And if you can push buttons on your keyboard, you can fly a drone. That looks fantastic there, Johan. Wow. National Geographic footage. Pillars of fire.
Yeah, that was the whole row here.
Full extent of it, yeah.
Let's see how.
Yeah, the front end of some of these flow lobes. Oh, there's our little Kapuka out there.
Yeah, and
You can almost see where you were parked.
oh, it's gonna ruin our new road.
Yeah.
Already.
Oh, it's wrapped around to the road. Yep.
That's less than ideal.
So it's probably burning some moss out there. Is that what we're seeing? A little bit of the
Yeah,
smoke,
exactly.
maybe? Yeah. And then the rest of this is just stacked up on these other floats. Beautiful. Someone says you may be the Nikola Tesla of dronedom. There's a little feather in your cap.
I like that. It's pretty good. Well, that must be good.
Yeah. High praise. Yeah, someone was remarking how straight it is. It's just one single fissure for the most
It
part.
is.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we see them offset, but this one, I think, is it's just short. Just one crack, one conduit. The long ones tend to be kind of segmented more.
We do have a pool running here. Let's take a better look at that. Let's not push it with the battery. We can
Yeah.
always do another one. I think the wind is getting a little better. Just follow this river here. Here we see our familiar flow patterns.
Yep, just crusted over Pahoehoe. That was a nice long flight. That was really good. We got to spend quite a bit of time out there.
Yeah, it's amazing. It just sort of harnessed the wind instead of the battery.
Right. Well, you've learned how to kind of use it to your advantage, I suppose.
It wants to go home automatically. So, if you have a DJI drone in conditions like these, oh, and someone tells you it's better to let it just return automatically, that is not the case, I can assure you.
Just fly it manually home.
Now, well, if you are a real pro, what you can do, you can change the F button from being tripod mode to attitude mode. Now, attitude mode in autopilot would be called aft hold or altitude hold. Then it actually doesn't hover in a GPS. It'll with GPS, it'll just float with the wind. So what you can do then, if I put it into attitude mode now, then it'll just drift with the wind, and you only need to add a bit of throttle.
Wow.
So remember in December,
It's like
so that's
sailing.
how I got that's how I got the drone home in December, like 5 kilometers on 30% battery. Without that neat trick,
Yeah,
that
it's
would
just
not be possible.
learning.
So you could have stayed longer. Could have stayed like 10% battery longer. But yeah, it's kind of hard to hike out here to get the drone. So it's better to.
You don't want to chance it. Yeah. Better to cut it a minute or two short and have the use to get back.
I would send another drone with a grappling hook to get it.
Yeah. That'd be fun. A little rescue operation.
Yeah, except I don't have a grappling hook on my custom drone.
Well,
I'd have to go back to the workshop.
That
make
could be,
one,
yeah, you'd have to tinker in your workshop.
Yeah, exactly. So.
That was great. Excellent. Everyone really enjoyed that. So thanks so much for doing that for us, Johan. Amazing. the landing pad out this time.
I have the landing pad, but
Very nice.
it's got rocks on.
Yeah, to hold it down from the wind.
To hold it down, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today. And yeah, if you want to send the pictures and the video, make sure we share those with people. Some folks, I saw some folks in the live chat say something about booking a flight, so you might be getting some interest that way. And then
right, I think I have availability in a couple of hours, but we will see what happens.
Yeah.
Conditions are severe, so like now, it's basically I have to do the flying, but we'll see tomorrow also. And if you book a flight and the conditions aren't perfect, then I can always reschedule it, move it, find a good time, find a better place. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, perfect. That sounds great. So yeah, we'll just see what the weather's like, and people can just go from there. So, but yeah, if this continues into tomorrow, I'll check in with you and see where you're at and stuff. We'll see if it works out or not. But thanks so much for doing this, my friend. We got to be with you twice in one day, or maybe sort of 2 days over there, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a busy day for us, Shawn, and let's hope. Yeah, like we said before, let's hope for the best of both worlds. Perhaps we get a little more drone action, and you know, a kind of tidy eruption like this one. You know, doesn't cause any trouble.
Yeah, no big deal. Not a big stress kind of producing eruption. So we'll let you go, Johan.
All right, I'm gonna watch search and rescue here. Try to land our big Matrice DJI that's really struggling in the wind.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, try to get some rest if you can sometime today. But we appreciate it. This was really great.
I'm definitely gonna show my.
Oh, there we go.
My new Raven Model 01.
Right.
I'm sad to say we can't fly that today because it doesn't work with our system, but that will be later. This one can fly in 25 meters a second wind and can reach speeds of 200 kilometers an hour. So
we'll look forward to that when that thing's up and online. That will be fun.
Exactly. All right, Shawn. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, my friend. You were awesome. I appreciate everything. Take care, Johan.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, bye now. Alrighty, so that was fun. Hopefully everyone enjoyed a couple flights with Johan. We got, I mean, really better footage than anything we're seeing, obviously, on the webcams, right? You know, we were able to watch his videos, which were good, but then to actually get to fly out there with them was pretty sweet as well. So looks like the eruption, you know, could go on for hours. Obviously, it could go on for longer. We'll have to see. Looks like we have a Coast Guard flight that has a photo here, so the Coast Guard did get up. Now that we're looking at it from above, it does look like there is some sort of segments to it. So when we were looking down kind of the axis of it, it looked like one linear fissure, but I think kind of looking at this photo here, it's a little more obvious to me that there is some sort of segmentation, an echelon fracturing, which is pretty typical of these things. That's so you can see the whole extent of it there. You can see, I think we're looking at, there's that little Kipuka right there. And so this is the east side here, which seems to have the lion's share of the lava flows coming out from it. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah, so it's a little past midnight here. I think I'm tired. I think I'm ready to call it. I mean, I wish I could go all night, but feeling pretty rough here. And I will get on tomorrow. Probably won't do a live stream unless there's something going on or Johan wants to do another flight, but I'll at least do, at a minimum, an update and send you an update there. Let me check. I haven't checked my Amanda thing here. Let's see. One question real quick to round us out here. D-Lane wants to know, how was the earthquake pattern leading up to this eruption versus other eruptions? Well, just based on my just very quick analysis as I was watching this, once I heard word from, I think it was maybe even Johan that kind of clued me in first to like things were going on over there. The earthquakes were deeper initially than I'd seen with some of the other events, and after those went on for an hour or more, really, it led me to believe that it was a good chance that this was going to just be an intrusion. And indeed, we did have an intrusion initially. So if you come back to the Met Office updates and kind of go through these sequentially, you can see that the one at 3:45, which was before the eruption began, about 10 minutes before the eruption began, they talk about where the seismic activity is. And then based on that seismic activity, that intrusion was about 6.5 kilometers long. So that's what it looked like a lot to me. The earthquakes, they weren't large magnitude quakes. It was only a handful of ones over magnitude 2. So they were small magnitude. They were fairly deep for a while, and it just didn't have the sort of classic textbook run-up of sequences that you tend to see with earthquakes that lead to an eruption. But nonetheless, it did get there eventually, but it just took its time. Usually once we see that initial seismic swarm coming in the past, we've seen that accelerate to an eruption in as little as, maybe half an hour or so. This one took a little bit more time. You can see, let's see when it so the earthquake swarm started at about 1:20 Iceland time, and we didn't get our eruption until 3:55. So that's about 2.5 hours or so of seismic activity. And so to answer your question, I would say the length time-wise of the earthquake activity was different than what we'd seen before. Magnitudes were a little lower than what we'd seen before. And then also the depths. I was watching those early depths, at about, I guess, 2 a.m. Iceland time, and they just weren't that shallow, at least for initially. So hopefully that's kind of helpful there. So round out live stream. Last little look at it, so you guys can keep watching on the live cams if you'd like to. But I'm sure the Met Office will have some more updates as we go into the next few hours. Pretty awesome. So I want to thank our moderators. We had all three. We had the Dream Team on here tonight with Amanda, Jo, Lisa, and Susan. Thank you so much for jumping on and running the show on the live chat. Always appreciate your work today. And thanks to all of you viewers, everyone on the team that jumped on here at a quick moment's notice. Some of you staying up to ridiculous hours of the night, potentially, to watch this small eruption in Iceland. Again, fortuitously, nowhere near infrastructure, not really large volume as it stands at this point. And so just a nice spectacle. It was really nice we were able to get Johan on the line quickly and enjoy a couple drone flights and some of the great images we get with those. So with that, I'll go ahead and sign off, and thank you all for your time this evening.